Trades and retentions normally don't attract a lot of attention, but this year they have for two reasons. One, of course, all the big drama surrounding Hardik Pandya, what it means for MI, for GT, for RCB. But also remember, no one knows what's going to happen next year. Is there going to be a big auction next year? Or is it going to be more of just retentions and trades? So teams have let go a lot of players and they're trying to bolster their squads just in case there is no major auction next year. So let's look at it from that point of view. But first, the big headline. I must admit, I had heard of this a little while ago about the whole Hardik Pandya trade. I didn't think it would happen, simply because he was so integral to Gujarat Titans. As captain, he had really grown in the role. He had taken Gujarat Titans to a win, to literally a ball or two away from a second consecutive win, which only an MI or a CSK had done. So it blew my mind. I think it is the single biggest trade that we've ever seen in the IPL, and MI have done it again, just as they did with Quinton de Kock and Trent Bolt in the past. I think the genesis lies in Hardik Pandya wanting to come back to Mumbai Indians. And the moment that happened, Gujarat Titans knew they could not hold on to him. For them, from there onwards, it was always going to be, can I get the best financial deal? So the 15 crores is something that they will get. And there was, of course, the transfer money. They're a private equity firm. They're very, very good at knowing how to get good financial deals. So now let's see how this pans out for the three teams involved here. Remember, Mumbai Indians always wanted Hardik Pandya, but at the time of retention, they had to choose three between Rohit Sharma, their fantastic captain. Surya Kumar Yadav was making waves as a T20 player. Jasprit Bumrah, you desperately want to have him. Ishan Kishan and Hardik Pandya. And at that point, there was an injury cloud over him and they chose to go with Surya Kumar Yadav. But now they've got Hardik Pandya back. And so MI have this very strong Indian core now of Hardik Pandya, Rohit Sharma, Jasprit Bumrah and Surya Kumar Yadav. Add Ishan Kishan to that, and you have a really solid batting core that Mumbai Indians have with Bumrah with the ball. So they've benefited from that. What they now need is some solid bowling. They needed the money to get Hardik Pandya back, and that is where it'll hurt them a little bit, because they had looked at Cameron Green as a 7-8 year investment, as someone who will be a rollicking aggressive batsman in the top 3 or 4, and as his bowling develops, they will then maybe get a 4 overs bowler. But they got an Indian equivalent of Cameron Green, maybe a little more bowler, maybe a little less aggressive batter these days, but they got it back. And I think it would have crossed their mind somewhere that Cameron Green is going to be a 3 format player for Australia, and so not always sure of availability, how Australia would handle Green, and that would depend on how long he was available to Mumbai Indians. Now the master stroke there was in getting an all-cash deal for Cameron Green from RCB, so that they had 15 crores through freeing up players. Now they got an additional 2.5 crores, and Mumbai Indians can enter the auction with 17.5 crores to look for a spinner or two and 2 quality fast bowlers. Everybody wants fast bowlers. Will they get it? We'll have to wait and see. What does it mean for RCB? It means they've got an awesome top 6, because you got Faf and Virat, maybe Cameron Green at 3, Rajat Patidar at 4. He's in very good form. Glenn Maxwell, Dinesh Karthik has started the domestic season well. So that's a serious top 6. But what RCB need is bowling. Look at the 3 players that they have released. Hasaranga, Hazelwood and Harshal Patel. So now they're left with Mohammad Siraj and with Reece Topley, and poor Reece Topley keeps getting injured all the time. Shahbaz, who was their spin bowling all-rounder, has been traded away. I don't know how much of an impact Mayank Dagger will have. So now, instead of 40 crores, RCB have 23 crores with which to rebuild their entire bowling side, not just fast bowling, but spin too. And that will be the key. Their auction strategy, it will depend on whether with those 23 crores, they can get enough bowling. In their top 6, they've got Maxwell and they've got Green, but I think between them, that's a bowler and a little bit more. So watch out for RCB at the auction. What does it mean for Gujarat Titans? Quietly, they've got their 15 crores. I know they've lost their talisman player, they've lost their captain, they've lost a hardcore middle order batter. They'll be in the market heavily for batting to bolster Hardik Pandya and for bowling. But the thing is that they've got enough money. So just as you'd watch RCB, watch Gujarat Titans, because they approach the auction very differently. think there was one other very interesting trade, and that was Devdutt Padikkal going to LSG and Avesh Khan coming back. Why would RR do that? Because RR realized that they've got a very good batting core in Joss Butler, Sanju Samson, Yashasvi Jaiswal, who's in great form. Riyan Parag is finally fulfilling his ability, and Shimron Hetmyer. But that middle person that they need at 6-7 maybe, who they thought would be Jason Holder and wasn't, they've released him. That person probably doesn't exist in India at the moment. And so rather than going for a bowler to fill the fourth overseas slot along with Trent Bolt, they said, okay, we'll get Avesh Khan in. So now you've got Avesh Khan, you've got Kuldeep Sen, and you've got enough Indian fast bowling with Prasidh Krishna in there as well. You've got Ashwin, you've got Chahal. So the bowling is taken care of by the Indian component. They can go and bid heavily for batters as a backup for Hetmyer and to fill in that 6-7 all-rounder slot that they probably think doesn't exist in India. So clever trade. Why have LSG gone the other way? LSG have enough bowling, but they already had a very strong batting core with Quinton de Kock, with KL Rahul, Deepak Hooda showing signs of coming back to form, with Ayush Badoni, Marcus Stoinis, Krunal Pandya. So they already had a pretty strong batting core, but I think in Devdutt Padikkal they're just using it as a backup against maybe a batter going out of form like say Deepak Hooda did. There's one other team that desperately needs to have a good auction, and that is KKR. KKR will be heavily bolstered by the return of Shreyas Iyer, and all of a sudden Nitish Rana, Shreyas Iyer, Rinku Singh, Andre Russell, that's looking very good. Roy and Gurbaz maybe at the top. Maybe they need an Indian opener somewhere just to free up a possible overseas slot, but they need fast bowlers desperately. They've got Sunil Narayan, they've got Varun Chakravarti. They need maybe a little more in terms of spin, but they've got Anukul Roy, but they desperately need to get those fast bowlers in. And so MI need bowlers, RCB need bowlers, KKR need bowlers, maybe Gujarat need another bowler. What does that tell you? The fast bowlers are going to go for huge money at this particular auction. Who are the teams that don't need those bowlers? Sunrisers don't. In fact, if you look at a team like Sunrisers, they actually have a very good core. Sunrisers don't need to do too much in the auction, so Sunrisers can sit pretty there. Maybe CSK need fast bowling as well, because Patirana was their overseas fast bowler. You don't quite know. Mukesh Chaudhary comes back into form, they'll be alright. I still think CSK will need a batter to replace Ambati Rayudu, and maybe as a backup for Moeen Ali. So I won't be surprised if CSK go in heavily for an overseas batter and an overseas bowler. Because remember, with CSK as well, this could be MS Dhoni's last year. I know we say that every year. This could be MS Dhoni's last year. So they're also building for retentions for next year. You don't know how much longer Moeen Ali is going to be around, for example. So they've got to start building for retentions, building around Devon Conway, Ruturaj Gaikwad, even Ajinkya Rahane, if he has another good season, could give you a couple more. So for CSK, at the auction, it will be looking at next year's players in this auction. Sunrisers let go of Harry Brook, and that didn't surprise me at all, because they've got a really good top order core from India that was constantly having to be rejigged to accommodate Brook. Mayank Agarwal has had a good domestic season. Abhishek Sharma has had a fantastic season. They've got Rahul Tripathi, Aiden Markram, Heinrich Klaassen, and then the all-rounders in Washington Sundar and Marco Jansen. They've got good spin bowling options. So actually, if you look at that SRH team, given also that they have a lot of fast bowlers in there, a lot of Indian fast bowling core, they don't need to do a lot. Glenn Phillips is a very good backup for a Klaassen or a Markram. So they don't really need to do a lot. Maybe get a big name fast bowler somewhere in case Marco Jansen has an issue. But SRH are sitting on a really good core at the moment. With them, it's always a question of what they do with their assets. What about Delhi Capitals? Delhi Capitals have let go of a lot of players, but if you see who they've let go of, these were a lot of underperforming reasonably big budget players. Riley Russo, you waited for a long time. Phil Salt, they didn't quite know what to expect. Rohman Powell, Mustafizur Rahman, they've Manish Pandey, they've let go of a lot of these people, and yet if you look down that DC side, they've still got a decent core. I think the key for DC is what can they get from Rishabh Pant this year. If they can get something from Rishabh Pant this year, and the punt that they have taken on Prithvi Shaw, because I think Prithvi Shaw would have been that close from letting go for off-field reasons rather than on-field reasons. But if you look at now, if you look at what they've got Warner, they've got Prithvi Shaw, and they've got Mitch Marsh at the top. That's an absolutely explosive lineup. Marsh can go up and open the batting as well. They probably will be in the market for a big middle order player, because you don't quite know where you stand with Rishabh Pant. If he can come back, then that'll make a big difference. Luckily for them, their bowling is well sorted with a lot of really good Indian fast bowlers who need to come to the party though. Mukesh Kumar has been a fantastic development. I think sometimes Khalil Ahmed just needs a little kick up the backside to remind him of how good he is. But they now have a pretty solid core that just needs balls to win. The one surprise that I had was Punjab keeping Sam Curran. At that price, at 18.5 crores, that's a huge day for Sam Curran. They could have got him back at less. They let go Shah Rukh Khan. Finally, they probably thought, look, our go attitude approach wasn't working. So Rajapaksa's gone, Shah Rukh is gone. They have enough money to get replacements as well. But with Kings, it's never been about that. It's always been, as with Sunrisers, what you do with your assets. So that is where things stand at the moment, in my view. The teams to watch out for at the auction: Mumbai Indians, RCB, KKR largely, and then teams like Delhi Capitals and CSK filling in slots in there. But what a move this has been with Hardik Pandya. As I've said before, the biggest trade, the biggest transfer there has been so far.